Now that the Rascal has been out for a while, it has had enough time to be thoroughly used, but is it worth it? I have tested the Rascal and will go over the good and bad and give my personal opinion on the weapon. First, let's go over what the Rascal is. The Rascal is exclusively a PvE weapon meant for arc, which has very strong arc armor penetration. It uses launcher ammo and shoots explosive projectiles, which does 75 damage per shot, and it is a break action single shot weapon, exactly like the Pharaoh. With out of the way, let's go over what the Rascal does well. It is very good at dealing with medium and even large arcs. This means if you're trying to PvP and you bring a Stitcher, Berletta, or Tempest along with the Rascal, you now have a cheap but good weapon to counter arc. This is great since if you're going for PvP, you probably will only need to bring one stack of launcher ammo, and the Rascal is very light with only a weight of 4, meaning it will not eat up your inventory. On top of that, it's considered a pistol, just like the Venator, Hairpin, and others. This means you can equip it really quickly, shoot an arc or two, and switch back to another weapon. This is really nice, especially for PvP, when there's a wasp in your way and you just want to take it out and get right back into the fight. Since it's explosive, it does a lot of damage and can one-shot wasps and turrets, and even comets, hornets, and fireflies if you hit them in the right spot. However, this can be very difficult as you need perfect accuracy. Shredders, sadly, can only be taken out with at least 2 shots directly to the thrusters. It does fairly well against large ground arc units, being able to deal decent damage to them and take out their armor semi-quickly. Its durability is pretty good too, a Rascal 1 being able to shoot I believe 136 rounds, so around 5.7 stacks of launcher ammo, which there's almost no way you'd want to use that much ammo in just one raid. You also don't even need to really upgrade it since it's mainly used as a quick one-shot sidearm, and it only slightly increases the reload when you upgrade it, with a level 4 being only 20% faster. It's not too hard to find the Rascal either, and I found a decent amount in locked rooms. Now that we've looked at what the Rascal does well, it seems pretty good. However, it does have its drawbacks, and sadly, there's a lot as well. The Rascal has really bad projectile speed and drop, so it can be very difficult to learn how to hit targets, especially when they're not as close. This can be frustrating a lot of the time since many flying arcs might not get very close. This is very apparent when fighting a Rocketeer, Vaporizer, and just small groups of flying arcs. Furthermore, it struggles with small arc, since if you miss your shot, it's slow to reload. Along with that, using launcher ammo on small arc is basically a waste, and to top it all off, it can't even one-shot an unopened fireball. Also, the blueprint is on the harder side to find compared to lots of other blueprints in the game. At face value, these are the Rascal's only real issues, but when you start to compare it to other weapons, it becomes a much bigger problem. Let's compare it to the Anvil, a classic, strong, cheap weapon which is great at PvE. The Anvil's blueprint is easier to find, it's easier to craft, upgrading it is cheaper, it has way better range, it can also be used for both PvE and PvP, heavy ammo is much cheaper than launcher ammo, it can take attachments, and it can efficiently deal with small arc. What they are equal on is that they both technically fall under the pistol category, so they both have quick draw speeds, they are relatively light, and both hold enough ammo in one stack to take care of a lot of arc. The only things the Rascal has over the Anvil are that it has stronger arc penetration, it's explosive, and it has better durability. Furthermore, let's compare it to the Bettina. Now, initially you might say that's not a fair comparison since it's a higher rarity weapon and costs more, but that's not entirely true. When looking at their crafting recipes, they basically take the same amount of materials. The Rascal takes 2 advanced mechanical components, 3 heavy gun parts, and 5 canisters. The Bettina takes 3 advanced mechanical components, 3 heavy gun parts, and 3 canisters. The Bettina is only slightly more expensive. When comparing the Bettina to the Rascal, it's not even a contest. even if the Rascal is level 4 and the Bettina is level 1 with a level 1 muzzle brake, vertical grip, and stock, in my opinion, the Bettina is still a much better overall weapon. Most of the things that the Anvil had over the Rascal also apply to the Bettina. In some cases, it's even more exaggerated. The big ones being it can be used for PvP as well, it has far better projectile speed, and it can be efficiently used on all sizes of arc. The durability of the Bettina is better than the Rascal as well. What they are equal on is that they both have ammo problems. The Rascal's launcher ammo is very expensive, and the Bettina eats through heavy ammo. They also both take the same number of materials when upgrading, which is crazy to me. The Rascal's only real benefit against the Bettina is that it's much lighter. It won't take up as much space for ammo, and its equip speed is much quicker. For me though, that is not enough to make it better than the Bettina. And for these reasons, I really don't think the Rascal is worth it. It is sad to say, but it is true. However, that doesn't mean all is lost. If the Rascal is reworked, it can definitely become a much more useful and stronger PvE weapon. Now, there are a lot of things that can be changed about it, and I have my personal ideas on how to fix it. My first idea is that Embark could make it an uncommon rarity instead of rare. This would make it much cheaper to craft and upgrade, which would put it more in line with its current stats. A little bonus as well is that it would keep the old theme that all rare weapons use medium ammo, and all weapon rarities, besides legendary, would have 5 weapons. My second is that they could make the blueprint something you automatically have, or just make the blueprint much easier to find, so people who just come off Expedition or are new players have something else to use on Ark rather than Pharaohs and Anvils, since I feel by the time you have the Rascal blueprint, you probably already have a Bettina or could just buy a Hole Cracker from Taiwan. Third is to make the projectile speed faster, and at max the same speed as the Hole Cracker. I get that it doesn't make sense since you have much less barrel length than the Hole Cracker, therefore it must have less projectile speed, but some projectile speed change would definitely help the Rascal out. Fourth is to just make the launcher ammo less expensive, or lower the rarity at least. I remember when Embark made the launcher ammo more expensive since people were taking down large arcs too easily, but honestly I feel like it wouldn't be horrible to make it slightly less expensive now. A change to the launcher ammo system would be really appreciated at least. Last is to just increase the damage to be at least the same as the Hole Cracker, since it only does 75 damage per shot and the Hole Cracker does 100 damage per shot. I personally don't see why they can't be the same. I think any one or multiple of these changes would really help the Rascal start to step in the spotlight and see more usage from people. Now, I'll be honest, I personally do really like the weapon and the niche spot it's trying to fill in Arc Raiders. I think it's really cool and its design is awesome. Bringing it into a raid and not worrying about expensive gear, just shooting off some shots and seeing some Arc explode is a complete blast. But I can't deny the fact that when looking at it from an unbiased point of view, strictly based on efficiency, it is not currently worth using over other weapons. That is, if it does not change. With that said though, thank you so much for watching, and please tell me what you think about the Rascal in the comments, or even if I missed something or got it wrong. I'm not an expert. Anyways, good luck Raider, see you topside.